Good afternoon. I just got home from work. I'm freezing. It's not that cold out, but I sat down. I need to put in a cup of tea. Let's do that first. I'm not trying to, I am. My goodness, how hard is it? I am unloading the dishwasher while we're talking. For some reason, I unload it and then put it away. It makes no sense. And Parker hears me speaking, so Parker's going to be part of it. All right. I guess I unload because I want to get everything light together. I'm going to say it's that, not that I'm lazy. Anyway, here's my day. Went to work. I had so much that I wanted to accomplish. Oh, and I just broke the microphone. I thought it was the knob to adjust this, and I just broke it right off. So, I guess I'll speak up. I was going to tell you how my day's going. Oh, darn it all. Sorry about the bad words. I'll try to get them out. Went to work. I had a list of things I was going to accomplish, and I got to work, and I didn't write the list down, and I couldn't remember 90% of it. And one of them was doing a bunch of computer work. I'm trying very hard to get things under control at the salon and do a lot of things that I put off for so long. So I went in with all these expectations of moving files into my laptop so I can work a little bit more remotely. Took everything I needed. I bought all the add-ons for the computer. None of them were the right things, and I got nothing done. Funny was, though, I looked it up online about how I could do a couple things, and it told me to do some dangerous things on the computer, which I do know enough about to really be dangerous. So I texted my computer guy, John, and said, all right, I'm in the root directory, I want to do this. And immediately the phone rang. No, get out of the root directory. I'll be in to do it. So I'll sit down one day next week with him and do that. But then I had a plan to rewrite some books that I had written on hairdressing and just some procedural manuals. And for some reason that didn't work out. I couldn't remember what I was supposed to be doing with them. See, changing subjects for 1 minute. I got the monk fruit and I didn't like it. So then I picked up the stevia and tried to make myself like it. I don't like it. So I'm back to sugar, and I'm going to just try to cut it down very, very slowly. See, it needs more, but I'm going to make do. So anyway, I also have a plan. I do all of the training at the salon, and little background story. I used to train or do some business seminars all around the country many, many years ago, probably late 80s. And I've written a couple of my own manuals for the salon. It's one of the things that I do fairly well. So when I'm training a new stylist, they come out of school with so little knowledge, at least in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is horrible, horrible with trades. And I start from scratch. I'm not going to spend 40 to 80 to 160 hours with trainees anymore. So I want to start another channel, a private channel, just for all my training, and maybe open it up to the public someday, the cosmetology public. So I took my camera, went to the back of the salon, got my headspace right, and sat down and did an introductory to Cosmetology 101 Margaret style, and did about half an hour, maybe a little more. Came up to the front to check it and to start editing it. And I don't think I ever put the video on. I think I put it on photo. So I talked to myself for half an hour, lost some decent content. Came home, had lunch because it's 4 o'clock, and just went to talk to you, and you saw that I broke. It's just never ending. So, well, the cats are running around. I'm going to put the dishes away, and while I'm getting this work done, I'm going to start answering some of the Q&A stuff that's been sitting there for me to do for quite a while. Some of it I've addressed over the last week or two. I also, when I was coming home, drove around Dighton and filmed it so you could see it. And it was garbage, so that didn't make it either. I think I'm having a day where things aren't just going well. But I've gotten some things done because as I was trying to do these things that didn't work, in between, I got some work done that helps. So I'm still ahead of the game. One of the things that quite a few people asked is if I've always lived in Dayton. Why do I do that to you guys? Always lived in Dayton. And I think I answered it that yes, except for moving one town over when I was in my early 20s. And that was because my in-laws owned a whole bunch of land in the neighboring town of Swansea and gave us 2 acres of land to start our lives. We built a house there, a tiny little cape that had an unfinished second floor. And it would have been a nice house to raise kids in. But one of the things I did not like is it was very close to Dayton, like maybe 500 yards away. And Dayton had a much better school system than Swansea at the time. And I always felt that if I was going to be fortunate enough to have kids, I wanted them, if we were going to be that close, I wanted them to be in the Dayton school system. So when we ended up moving back to Dayton, I can't say I was unhappy about that. And that's when we bought this house, and the rest, as they say, is history. We were married 7 years before we had kids. I was not able to conceive very easily. I had about 4 or 5 early miscarriages before I had the boys. Now, as far as living other places, have I always wanted to live here? No. At different points of my life, I would have given anything to live somewhere else. I've never been bitten by the bug to travel outside the United States, but I would love to see all of the United States. I have been to many places. I talked about how Michael and I took a car and toured the West. And Michael absolutely fell in love with Yellowstone. He has spent many summers there, many weeks there. I don't know how many times he's been now, but it's in the double digits. And I went out 2 or 3 times and really did love it. I love Oregon. I love just the rugged coast out there, much better than our coast. I am not a fan of New England. I love it because it's my home, but I don't like so many trees that you can't see the forest for the trees. When you go hiking, you see trees. When I go hiking out west, I can see everything. And that was Yellowstone in Montana. I love Montana. I love Utah. I've been out there 7 or 8 times. What I used to do when the kids were teenagers and life around the house and at the salon really would put me over the edge for a little bit. I would escape by telling the girls I'm going for a walk at the salon, and they knew that meant I was getting on a plane, and I would head out west. I would head out west by myself and just go hiking. I was very fortunate. I went a couple of times with Fatima, my friend that passed away a couple years ago. Yvonne has been with me for 37 years. We've gone out, I think we just went out once. One of my sisters, my sister Bernie, who's my next youngest sister, and I have gone out, twice I think. You fly into Las Vegas, which, I fly into Las Vegas and keep going. But I can find myself out there. There's a place where you're meant to be. If my sons were not here, and my sisters, if the salon was not mine, I would have gone out there to stay. Part of my heart will always be out there. I would like to see Alaska. I probably won't see it, and it's not a big draw anymore. It's a funny thing. When I got divorced and the stress went down, so did the need to travel. Don't know why. I have seen probably 40 of the different states, not to spend a lot of time there. But when I did travel to teach, I would spend a couple of days in different places. I would love to go to Europe. I don't have a passport. I don't on purpose because I don't want to start thinking I can do it because I financially never could. Would love to see New Zealand and Australia. I have a niece, Denise, that has seen 99% of the world as a young woman and lived vicariously through her. So some of that I feel like I don't need to do quite as much as I used to. I can't travel by myself anymore, only because I can't be trusted. Years ago, by myself out west, I took a red eye in and thought I could get a couple of hours under my belt in Colorado and fell asleep at the wheel and rolled the car. The truck driver behind me said 7 times. Thought I was gone, but I lived. I broke my back in 3 places. It was rather traumatic, and I couldn't fly home because of my back. And Fatima actually was supposed to be meeting me in a week, so she came out. So yeah, traveling by myself is looked down upon by family and friends. I think that answered the question. If I did travel, it would probably be within the country to see the rest of it. If I ever had unlimited funds, so the answer was no, I would love to see the rest of the world. But home is where your family is. So Dighton has always been and will always be home. That answers that question. Let me see what other questions we have while we're in the mood to talk here. Why did I decide to start this channel? And any advice to anyone to start one? And who does the editing and all that? My role at the salon for the 37 years we've been open is to be the entertainment. It just happened that, I'm out there talking to people and stories come up, and I have, a very warped sense of humor. So for 30 years or more, people have said, oh, please write a book about, your life. Please write that down. Please do a stand-up routine. Do something with this talent. And I was thinking about what I could do just to record some things. And knowing me, I couldn't sit down and write a book. I wouldn't be able to get across how convoluted my life has been and how weird I am. And I thought this fall, let's get it on film. And then I thought, all right, let's do a YouTube channel, see where it goes. I mean, I could definitely use the monetary if it came through. So I just did that first one, made a channel and threw it up there for Thanksgiving, and people seem to like it. This is easy for me. I don't have a script. I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm always surprised as everybody else about what comes out of my mouth. So, Parker, if you want to participate, that's fine. But if I put the camera on you, you'll just run away. So this has been, I love doing this, and I've said it to you. This part is very easy. The editing takes me a couple of hours because I have to take out the ums, the ahs, anything I repeat twice. Because if I didn't like this, I'd say anything I repeat twice and take out one. The editing is all me. I enjoy it, me having fun. And at some point I'll have to step it up if this stays the way it is. I really, really do enjoy it. It is also possibly my retirement plan because I don't have a retirement plan. And, we laugh about that. Ha ha, Margaret says she doesn't have anything. I don't have anything. When I got divorced, I owned the salon 100%, all of the stock. It's incorporated, it's a business. In the divorce, my ex-husband's lawyer had threatened me with, if you don't sign over the retirement and everything to Steve, we're going to come after the salon, which I could not allow because I don't want my girls suffering, my staff. So I just signed it all over. And I truly don't have a retirement plan. So this is possibly a step towards retirement. Next question people are asking me about, why don't I downsize? That would not make sense. I have looked at the numbers upside down, inside out. I still owe a lot of money on the house because I had to buy Steve out. But it's a 2-family, so I have rental income. And the rental income does pay the mortgage. It's almost penny for penny exact. There's still so many expenses with the 2-family, but I can handle that with my Social Security. My Social Security is very low. If I sold the house, yes, I'd make a tidy profit. I would have nothing left if I had to buy a condo. There would be nothing. And then you have condo fees. Well, that's more money than I spend now. I can't afford that. There is financially no way that I would be in better shape to downsize. The only reason I would like to is so I don't have the outside upkeep, the inside upkeep, always worried about what's breaking. But that's a small price to pay for the mortgage being paid. I will probably have a mortgage for the rest of my life. I, you know, it's life. If you didn't have that on your mind, you'd have something else. So I am not financially looking at seeing any possibility of ever leaving the two family. Luckily, I love the apartment. Luckily, I love the neighborhood. So if it happens, it happens, but it would be something that I can't comprehend right now. I hope that made sense to everybody. On the YouTube channel, people have asked, what would your advice be? How would I know? I just did this on a lick and a prayer, and it had some limited success. I've always been the kind of person that just tries it. What's the worst thing that can happen? You'd fail. If you didn't try, you wouldn't have had the possibility of success anyway. So I've always been the one, throw everything at the wall. Whatever sticks is what we're going to do. So if it hadn't worked, I wouldn't have been concerned about it. If it doesn't work, I won't be concerned about it. I will tell you I would miss it because I really have grown in the last couple months into loving doing it. But if you want to try it, just do it. Learn how. Make mistakes. They always say you don't learn from success, you learn from mistakes. But if that was the case, I should be much more successful than I am. Now I'm depressed. I think that's where we're going to stop. We pick it up next time. It's getting later in the afternoon. It's still so bloody beautiful in New England. I have a weekend coming up. Next week, I have the honor of going over to Mike and Nikki's for dinner one night and catching up with them. So it's going to be a great weekend with a great week. And at some point, I'll be checking in. I hope you're all well. Take care.